Now that goes on to then letter B, improved, right? You have new, and then you have improved. Just something new isn't enough. It's got to be better than what it was before, right? I tell pastors all the time who say, well, we need to change our church. I said, okay, but what will your changes will produce something better. Why? Because people gave their life to get it to this point, right? You know, Brother Robert Espinosa gave his life to give it here. Brother David Espinosa gave his life. So for us to change it, it better be better than it was before. Well, does that make sense? Now, everything needs to change. Society changes, communities change, people change. You better be changing. That's why Circuit City's out of business. You know, Sears and Roebuck thought that they could survive on catalog orders. How many have ever ordered anything on a catalog? At a time it was popular, you know, when the Pony Express, I guess. But you can't do it that way anymore. But they thought they could because they had been successful. And once again, we do the same thing as a church. We keep holding on to what was successful in the past, thinking that they'll still be successful today. If it doesn't work in business, what makes us think it's going to work in the church? No, I'm saying it's not good. It's all good, but things change. So improve. Number one, improve sustains momentum for the short term. So new triggers it, but improve sustains it in the short term. At least people will check you out and come back because they can see this isn't just the old with a new fresh paint, but this is better. This is better than was before. And secondly, the new must be a significant improvement over the old. So not only will it sustain momentum, and like I said, churches, companies, individuals grow when they can sustain momentum. To give you an idea, you come to the altar, you feel real good, and a couple of weeks later you feel bad again. Somehow you didn't sustain the momentum of the altar, or that feeling. And I think churches have that same thing. They feel good, and then things are going, and then, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm going to go Sunday, you know. Same old sermon. We hear the sing the same old song. And all of a sudden there's no momentum anymore. And so, improve always sustains momentum for the short term, and then new must be a significant improvement over the old. Now, different doesn't mean better, and I think this is important. We can do things differently doesn't mean it's better. It's just different. You know, the fact that I'm standing here rather than up there doesn't mean it's better. It's just different. And like I said, new triggers momentum. Oh, look, there they are. We got a little pulpit now. Now, at least it triggers. So, wait a minute, let's check this out. It might be better. Right? Well, the short term anyway. Number 3 says, when evaluating new options, ask, is this significant improvement over what we had before? Going to have a new men's ministry? Is it significantly better than the old men's ministry? You have a new youth ministry? A new outreach ministry? A new discipleship ministry? Now, once again, it's good. I think, you know, what we did, we kind of shut down children's ministry like the month of July. We just shut it down. So that when August came, we could say, come to the new children's ministry. And people think, well, it was good before, and now it's new. It might even be better, right? But it better be significantly better. And then they just took the month off. That's all they did. They didn't want to teach for a month. Now, number 4, I think I'm on number 4. I lost count here. You can't sustain momentum if new isn't significantly improved. You can call it new, but it's not going to sustain momentum if it isn't significantly better. Now, just think, now, I know, let me break right here, and I know we're running out of time here, because I'm going to give you a break, I think, at 11 o'clock. So, what are some ways, and I'll put you on the spot, and we're all going to, we won't use names, okay? Or won't look at anyone, or point at anyone, okay? But what could you do in a change that you could make in your ministry that would make it significantly better than what is already in place? Can you think of something? Whether it's children, working with youth, men's, women's, outreach, any. Do you have any idea? Don't be afraid. Yes?
We as a church need more intimate time with smaller groups where people can talk to each other and uplift each other and pray for each other. We don't have that in our church system right now.
Right. And that's huge. And I mean, I could go off into a whole other subject, and what I think I did it before in impacting your community. There's got to be 3 elements. There's got to be vision, there's got to be programs, and there's got to be interpersonal relationships. I mean, this is horrible to develop relationships. All you relationship is to know the person in front of you has dandruff or not. All you know about this person. And that's how churches are set up. I mean, churches are great for ministry, but typically church services are horrible for fellowship. They're not created, they're not set up that way. And so people come in, and the larger you get, the more you can hide. I mean, we had a large church, and a lot of people like that because they want to slip in and slip out without ever meeting anyone. And is that church? Is that what Jesus wants? No. So you got to come up with different ways, and so that would improve your ministry. I believe that ministry flows out of relationships easier than relationships flow out of ministry. Let me say that again. Ministry flows out of relationships easier than relationships flow out of ministry. You might not meet anyone new here, but if you were to meet someone and hear their story, it might make you want to minister to that person a little bit more, right? Now you know how to pray. I'll pray for you, brother. You share with me what you're going through. So let's go down to, okay, let me stop here. I know what you're thinking. Well, that's great. All our ministries need improvement. I'm making it say amen. Amen. But we don't have the money to improve them. How are we going to pay for new and improved? I mean, if it's going to be better than before, that means it's going to cost us money, right? Money, time, and people, right? Let's be honest, okay? We can be honest. You know, you know, painting a sheet isn't going to make it better, right? We need technology. How do we do this? Right? It'll be better. We want to wow people and come, wow, this is a lot better. No, there's no flannel graph. You know, they got rid of the flannel graph. Wow, this is better. But that costs money. Well, that's where you have to decide where you're going to put your money. Right? Just like you do. You don't have money to do everything. You have money to do what you want to do. And so you have to decide as a church where we're going to put our money. Now, once again, everything is good. You know, Sister so-and-so has this idea of a ministry, and it's a good thing. But you got to decide, we're going to put our money there, or we're going to put our money where we feel we can make the greatest impact. Now, this is what's tough for churches, and especially long-term churches. History churches. Now, I pastored. One was 60 years old. The other church was 80 years old that I pastored. And it was hard for them to say, but Pastor, we've always had this ministry. We've had it. I remember they had a clothing ministry. And one day, my first week there, I was going through the facility. I went to, there was a closet, and it was just jam-packed with clothes that hadn't been touched for years. And I'm thinking, what is this? They said, oh, we have a clothing ministry. And I said, well, does anyone get clothes? No, no one. No, really, there's no one who really wants to organize it, clean it, organize it, sort it, pass it out, but we have it. I'm thinking, so what, you can put on your bulletin, well, we have a clothing ministry, but it's not doing anything? No, we do that because we're afraid to cut anything. So, you got to decide. Now,